Hopefully you might know a little bit about the work we've been doing with 5G. We're very proud that we're actually nominated this evening in the IBC Innovation Awards for the first live 5G remote production trial that we ran at Wembley last November, where we did an 8-camera OB with 5G production at the EE Cup, which is an FA-approved tournament between different social media influencers. You may be aware, or your kids may be aware, of a team called #United, which has got a massive following on YouTube. So what we're going to try and do now is give you a little insight into what's happening. So we've got in the UK right now a live 5G consumer network. It's been live for a few weeks, and we've got 10 major cities already connected on the 5G EE network, EE being a part of the BT family. And today in the Women's Super League, which is a tournament we're very proud to be associated with, being the largest broadcaster of Women's Super League in the UK, we have got games going on all over the country. And we've also got 3 people at these blue locations. In London at the Emirates Stadium, home of Arsenal, who are playing away at Watford in the Premier League. We've got a reporter at Stamford Bridge, where Chelsea are playing in the Women's Super League away to Brighton and Hove Albion. And we've got another reporter at the Etihad, where Man City have finished their earlier game away to Reading. So let's hope this all works and goes to plan. So hopefully with a bit of luck, I can throw to Abby, who is at Arsenal. Abby, are you there?
Yes, Andy, well done. Welcome everyone. My name is Abby Stevens and I'm a presenter at BT Sport, and as Andy said, there will be a panel discussion a little later on at the BT stand in the IBC with not just BT but also with the BBC and with Endemol, chatting all things remote production. But as Andy said, I'm joined by 2 colleagues here in sunny England who are dotted around the country, and they're going to be brought to you over remote production using 5G. Natalie is in Manchester, outside Manchester City's Etihad Stadium, and Taylor is at Stamford Bridge, home of Chelsea FC. Now, back in November, I was lucky enough to be a part of the world's first live 2-way 5G-enabled remote production broadcast when BT Sport and EE teamed up between Wembley Stadium and London's ExCeL Arena. Now today, it's another world first. We're about to showcase something very special. We're going to bring you the world's first multi-location 5G enabled remote production. But first of all, over with you in Amsterdam, I'm pleased to introduce Matt Stagg, who is the Director of Mobile Strategy at BT Sport. Now Matt, as you can see, I'm outside a stadium that doesn't have a match taking place today. As Andy said, the Arsenal men's are away to Watford in the Premier League, and Arsenal women's will head north on Monday night to face Manchester United in the Women's Super League. So what does 5G really bring to the table?
Thanks, Abby. 5G, I think one of the main things that we get, and I think you start from, especially in a stadium environment, you get, if you put 5G in there, first of all, everybody's going to get a better experience because there's more capacity in. You know, it's very difficult from a mobile perspective to put enough capacity in there. But what it brings is also the ability to be able to, what we call network slicing, is where you can take a part of the network and then put sort of a service wrap around it, if you like, and then it's dedicated to that one vertical or industry or company, and that's what we're going to do with the broadcast network. And then, you know, it doesn't matter how many people you've got in there, you know that is a rock solid broadcast grade network that you know, is same, if not, well, superior to satellite, and goes with all our other fibre and all the other connectivity pieces.
Matt, thank you. Now, Gemma, you are a match director at BT Sport. From your perspective, what is so appealing about remote production in terms of the editorial and creative opportunity?
For me, being a director, it is all about the creative. We can essentially make these cameras do multiple things throughout the day. So with our lower profile sports like the National League, who allow you more access to the clubs, you might be able to start the morning at the manager's home, go on the team bus with him on one camera, and then do team arrivals, then interviews, and then reposition that camera to a match position. So immediately you make it look like you have more facilities with just a few cameras. That is hugely important. Another thing is just basically having trust in the feed you're getting. What you want to do when you press a button on a vision mixer. And by the way, I was very impressed with you've missed like a vocation somewhere. Is when you press the buttons, you want to know that what you're cutting is stable. And we have trialled with 4G stuff, and we do it with our National League highlight show. But having that stability and that trust in the feeds that we've got coming in is huge for director. So that's also really important. But also the last thing for me is it's a general remote production thing, is work-life balance. Above everything else, I'm a mum, and being able to wake up with my son, have breakfast with my son in the morning, and then go to work, direct a match, do a National League highlight show, and then go home and put him to bed is amazing. So this, for me, opens up a world of opportunities.
Gemma and Matt, thank you. We are now about to go around the country in our 5G enabled remote production broadcast. So let's head to Natalie, who's outside Manchester City's Etihad Stadium. Natalie, what's happening there today?
Well, Abby, no game here today, but I'm able to talk to you and broadcast to you by this very simple piece of kit via 5G. As I say, no game here today, but as a reporter, I'm able to tell you what's been happening in the WSL this afternoon. There's been 5 games, and 5G allows BT Sport to have feeds coming in from the Women's Super League games, not one game, but all 5. And I'm able to do that just by watching on my phone as well. So at the moment, West Ham and Birmingham are playing goalless there at the moment, but me as a reporter, I'm able to bring the viewers all the action, all the goals, and describe that from wherever I am. No multiple feeds coming into my reporter's position, just quite simply on my phone.
Yeah, super impressive. And how did Man City Women's get on in their WSL clash away to Reading Women?
Yeah, so that kicked off at 12:30 this afternoon, and quite simply it was a comfortable 2-0 win for Nick Cushing's side at Manchester City. 2-0 winners at Adams Park. Pauline Bremer with both the goals on either side of the break. A stunning strike from just at the edge of the area in the first half. More a persistence goal in the second half. She had the chance to make it a hat-trick, but there were also chances for Jill Scott and Janine Becky as well. Not a lot to do for the goalkeeper Ellie Roebuck. Natasha Harding with the best chance for Reading in the second half, but 2 wins out of 2 now for Manchester City, and 2 clean sheets as well, so an encouraging start to their season.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Nat, you're very much involved in BT Sport's remote production output. From your experience, what's it like working with it?
It's been fantastic, I think.
So we started using the remote access with the Women's Super League at the end of last season, but I've been working on the National League this season, and that is now exclusively remote access. From us on the ground, it's a relatively small team at the grounds now, so myself, a presenter, a couple of guests perhaps, and then sound engineers and your camera operatives. But the biggest compliment that I can give it is that it works exactly the same. The communication for me as a reporter at the ground, the staff back at Stratford, is exactly the same. We're not restricted by anything at all. And as you heard Gemma say there as well, we can be more creative with things. So our camera operators are not tied by cables, so we can go anywhere we want, and that allows creativity. But also, Gemma also mentioned the National League highlight show. So BT now has feeds coming in from all 12 games in the National League that afternoon. So 2.5 hours after the final whistle in that division, we're able to produce and turn around a highlight show that's broadcast after our live game. So we can be at more games, we can broadcast more, and actually we've doubled the amount of National League games that we're covering this season, Abby.
Natalie, thank you, and apologies there, Matt. I know Matt and Nat sound very similar. Okay, so Andy, why the excitement? What does remote production of 5G bring to the likes of us at BT Sport over more traditional TV production methods?
Thanks, Abs. Well, I probably should have said at the beginning, I got a bit excited at the start because the demo was very close to not happening. So I forgot about my script. I should have pointed out a couple of really important things. This is the dongle which the guys are connected to remotely. This is a HTC 5G-enabled dongle. If I turn this one on, you'll see that we've only got 4G on the front there, and the ones I've got locally have got 5G because they're in these already enabled consumer network positions. But what's exciting for us is that, and in fact the Women's Super League, which we've just been talking about with Natalie, is a really good use case, because at the minute we're able to use 4G cellular bonded networks because the Women's Super League has a relatively low attendance, sort of 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 fans maximum in the stadium. But now, after the success of the World Cup, the women's game is enjoying huge growth, something we were very proud to be part of, as I said earlier. And as we go into big stadiums, like we did just last weekend, where Man City women played at home at the Etihad, a big stadium, 60,000 people, you really cannot get, because of the contention, as Matt said, without slicing, you really cannot get that guaranteed throughput and the quality of service which Gemma as a director requires. 5G and the ability to slice that network off gives us that guarantee of service and will allow us to keep doing this remote working with those assurances. But also the other benefits are very similar to what Gemma said, that flexibility to go anywhere, the guaranteed bandwidth. And I think, Matt, one of the benefits about the way the service wrap will be enabled is it won't just be nailed up. You can buy amounts of bandwidth with guaranteed latency for when it comes as a service to various amounts of time, much like you would have booked in the old days, a bit of satellite space.
Yeah, it's really quite interesting. From the day I'm ex-EE, well, we're all BT now. Anyway, and I came. I remember the first week that we launched, and one of the guy at Sky News, it was when the one of the princes was being born, and our head office in Paddington was right by the hospital. And one of the guy phoned up and he said, "I don't know if you can do anything, but ROB's at Buckingham Palace, and we can't get another one in." And I said, "Well, actually, why don't you try and do it on this dongle?" And never been done before, and that was the first one. And that's when we saw that there was a really interesting opportunity on contribution. The problem has always been it's a best effort network. So you are going to, you can invest, you can actually, in areas like stadiums, it doesn't matter. Technically, you cannot throw that much in there. So you're always going to be best effort. So it's all never your primary feed. With 5G, it's going to be, a rock solid service. And I think I've always had the vision from that first day that somebody, say a breaking news or sport, getting up into a web front end, saying this postcode, this amount of bandwidth, this amount of time, bang, yes, we'll have it, and that'll be provisioned throughout the network. We've got a long way to go to get there, but if you've got that aim, that's where we'll go with it.
Brilliant, thanks, Matt. And the other thing I should have pointed out, everyone, is on the left here is the multi-viewer showing all these incoming feeds. The top three are the 5G connected ones. The other ones are 4G connected, and these are real live feeds that are happening as a service for the FA that they very kindly let us borrow today to demonstrate to you as part of our partnership with them on the Women's Super League. So these are live games. As you can see, Reading Man City's gone away because it's finished early on, so that's gone to black, as has the Everton, Brighton and Hove game. But we've got the other three games still coming in live. And I'm going to go back to Abby now in the Emirates to take us through the next part of the programme. Over to you, Abby.
Andy, thank you. Okay, let's head a little bit south from where I'm at in North London and to Chelsea, to Stamford Bridge and to Taylor. Taylor, what is the latest there in Chelsea's away fixture to Brighton and Hove Albion?
Hi Abby, yes that's right, here I am at Stamford Bridge, connected you seamlessly via 5G, and at the same time I'll keep it across the Chelsea match as they travel to Brighton Hove Albion women. And to be honest, there's not much going on in the game. It's 0-0, we're approaching the 56th minute mark, and nothing much between the two sides, and that's about it. Back to you, Abby. Nope.
I take it back.
Short and sweet. Okay, well, thank you, everyone. That's amazing that technology worked. So I was with you, Andy. Bated breath moments before, but brilliant stuff. I now know there's an opportunity for some questions about the production you've just seen. So thank you very much, and I'll hand you back to Andy.
Thank you, Abby. Can everyone give, I know they can't hear, but can you give our presenters a round of applause?